Radically ridiculous, and that's why I exist, and that's why I have a platform, because I'm here to give you clarity. Okay, it says Secret Service determined no credible threats to UGA rally after Erica Kirk's cancellation. Sources say. Let me put this in perspective. People love to do the headlines because it's viral and it gets you to click on their articles, and then they show ads to you, and then they make money. Okay, I know how this stuff works. If you want to be practical about what happens, as a person who runs a security company and who monitors security for high threat individuals, I'm here to clarify for you that it is irrelevant. It does not disprove anything Erica said or the reality of threats. Let me give you two examples so you can compare and contrast, and then I'm going to articulate very clearly why the security threat was never what people thought it was. So let's start with the first thing. Let me give you another example of this happening. Candace Owens did not go to Charlie Kirk's memorial. She said because there were material threats against her, that's why she did not go to the memorial. Do you know who was at Charlie Kirk's memorial? The President of the United States, the entire cabinet. That was the most secure facility on the entire planet. But the reason why Candace did not go, because she claimed that there was a threat against her life. Where's the threat at? The threat is not at the event. The threat is en route to the event. So the same application.
Well, I kind of disagree with that because I partially disagree with that because when you're en route to the event, you're a moving target. So, and it's always hard to hit a moving target. When you're at the event, you're a stationary target. You see, Officer Tatum knows this. And leave it to turncoat Tatum to think that he knows best. Here he comes out here to be the cleanup man for everybody else. But guys, they would never do this for him. This is why nobody really respects Officer Tatum. He has really no integrity whatsoever.
It's for Erica Kirk. Erica Kirk said there was a material threat against her life. I know how these things work. The threat is not at the event. It was never at the event. It's never a concern at the event. Why?
But see, here's the thing. She was at the event. She was at the event the whole time. She was backstage assessing the crowd and see how many people showed up, and she just decided to not go with it. That's what she did.
Because if you want to hurt somebody, you're not going to hurt them where Secret Service is present. You're not going to hurt them where it's a secure facility where they're warning people, making sure they don't have guns going in and out the facility. They go after people in transit. That's where the threat happens. The threat is them knowing your location, your route to the airport, from the airport to the venue.
But you know how hard that is to do. You have to know what time they're leaving their desk, where they're residing at. You have to know when they're going to be in traffic. You have to know what time they're going to be getting there. And pretty much, it's always an inside job. So, but that's very hard to do. So here goes Officer Tatum being disingenuous with his own audience again, because Erica Kirk, she was at that event the whole time. She was backstage assessing how many people was going to be there.
That's where the threat level is at. And this is why Erica Kirk more than likely did not show up. You don't have to jump to a conclusion and say, oh, she's a liar. She just made it up. Let me play this and then let me say this, and then we'll have Andrew Cover's statement about the topic. But
sure, because he's telling the truth.
Here's one thing that I think people really don't realize. You got to put your thinking cap on. If you were to say Erica Kirk was embarrassed at the crowd size, why would she be embarrassed at the crowd size? Why would she even care? If the crowd size was so dismal, then J.D. Vance, the vice president with Secret Service and millions of dollars of security, wouldn't have traveled there if the event was a nothing burger. They could have both left the venue and said, look, we're not going to show up, and gave you whatever excuse they wanted to. Why would you think that somehow?
J.D. Vance, he's a professional. And that's what professionals do. If you commit to something, you move forward with it, even after you committed to it. Erica Kirk, she's not a professional. She doesn't really belong in a CEO position, because when you commit to something as a professional, you go on with it. Even if it's two people in the damn crowd, you still do the damn job.
Now she's afraid of numbers. Erica Kirk speaks at events where it's a few people in the room. So that's not a logical conclusion, in my personal opinion. And whatever else excuse people are making, that Erica Kirk really had to do this and that. Why?
Well, it's the difference between speaking of games with a few people in a room with a turning point event. Turning point events usually be turnouts. Charlie Kirk is the only person that probably could get people to pull up and turn that motherfucker out. Erica Kirk, she doesn't really have that gift to get people to pull up like that, like Charlie Kirk did. And as long as Erica Kirk's the CEO, trust me, Turning Point will be on the decline.
Why does it matter? She can do what she want to do. She told you the reason why, and you don't have to speculate the reason why unless you have unequivocal evidence that it's wrong. But for somebody to say that,
So you're not allowed to question Erica Kirk, y'all. That's what he's saying. You're not allowed to question her, even though what she's doing is kind of shady and kind of sketchy. You're not allowed to question her. Well, what you worrying about it for?
because there was no threat at the facility, somehow Erica is lying, you don't know nothing about security. You're not genuine. That's point blank, period. Andrew Covey had something to say about it. Let's jump to this real quick.
He was talking about Candace right there, y'all.
I think I can read it from here. It said, this is an absolute garbage headline by CBS, which didn't even bother to reach out to us for comment. Why wouldn't you reach out to the organization that bear the record of the threat assessment? Okay. I think he goes on to say, of course, there is no issue at the venue. I think he articulates everything that I said. There's no issue at the venue. The threats were related to Erica Kirk's travel. Just like I
Guys, what Officer Tatum did, he read this before he even made this video, and then he adopted this talking point to make itself sound right.
said, not the venue. There are lunatics following her around constantly. In the days leading up to the event, we had to consistently change her itinerary and locations because threats were made against her specifically, and her location was getting doxxed. Since threats were ultimately deemed severe enough that the security said, we cannot guarantee your safety. We recommend that you do more, that you don't move forward with doing the event. When they say to the woman, it says, when they say that to a woman whose husband has been assassinated, you listen. Now, let me just clarify this. I think some of you are smoking crack and you've forgotten the plot. Charlie Kirk was
lost the plot.
Assassinated. Somebody shot him with a 30-06 and blew his neck out, and he was bleeding all over the place in front of the world. What in the make you think that his wife is not, the people don't want to kill his wife in the same way as if she don't have legitimate threats on her life?
Well, she probably has some little cuckoo threats on her life, but she's not as important as Charlie Kirk. She doesn't wield the power that he had. You know what I'm saying? Erica Kirk, in my opinion, she's very incompetent. I don't really think she's that smart. But she just doesn't really have the talent that Charlie Kirk had. And mind you guys, this is coming from a person who wasn't a big Charlie Kirk fan like that. I wasn't no Charlie Kirk fan like that. I didn't like some of his talking points, some of the shit that he said. However, to be objective, I have to give him this. He had the ability to get people to turn up and pull out. Erica Kirk, she doesn't have that ability. She doesn't have that ability to get people to pull up like Charlie Kirk did. If Charlie Kirk was still alive, you wouldn't even have to worry about not many people not being there like that. Everybody would have pulled up if Charlie Kirk was still alive.
And what make you think that it is worth her risking everything for her to get killed? And then who's going to raise their children? You're not. All you, I love Charlie Kirk people. You ain't going to help her with nothing. You know how I know? What have you done? What have you done? Nothing.
See, now this is the part where he tries to shame you and gaslight you because you're questioning Erica Kirk. Just because you don't believe her, just because she acting weird and you question it, that means you're not going to do nothing for her kids. I mean, that's true to a point. That's actually true. But however, it's pretty much just gaslighting.
But talk. You've done nothing to help Charlie Kirk's legacy, nothing to help his wife. You probably haven't called and checked on his kids once. Have you? No, you haven't. So how about you shut the front door and stop making these crazy claims
He talking about Candace, y'all. He keep throwing these little subliminal shots at Candace, but he would never go at her directly. He's too cowardly to go at Candace Owens directly, but he'll throw these little subliminal shots at her.
And stop listening to people unless you're a contributing person to Charlie Kirk. It teased me off that people are even talking about this as if they have the moral authority. I know everybody involved in this.
So?
And our organization gave almost $500,000 to support her family.
Why? She got money. She ain't hurt for money. Why not give it to some people? Why not give it to some people who actually need it? Because Erica Kirk ain't hurt for no damn money. They making a killing over Charlie Kirk and Turning Point merch. So what they need that for? Charlie Kirk was buku rich, a multi-millionaire. So I mean, it's not like, you know what I'm saying, his money, when he died, his money is going somewhere else. It's going straight to her.
So I think I deserve a right to say something about this. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. It's finna get juicy. I just want you to know if this is the beginning. All right, let's get to the next topic, and this is Tyler Robinson's trial. Play the Fox News clip, roll it.
Tyler Robinson, the man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk, is scheduled to appear in court. His defense wants to ban media from the courtroom and delay the preliminary hearing. Prosecutors are pushing back on both. Josh Ritter, criminal defense attorney and Fox News contributor, joins us from Provo, Utah. Josh, great to have you with us. Thanks for being here. You know, every time you think maybe they're getting close to getting to the meat of this case, it's just a push from the defense for now they want another 6-month delay on procedural things before they even start, right?
No, you make such an excellent point. We have not discussed one shred of evidence in this case yet. All of this argument has been about getting rid of the prosecutors. That failed attempt. Now it's all a over preoccupation with the cameras inside the courtroom. First it was, can he be dressed out in civilian clothing? What can they photograph? Where can the cameras be? And now they want the cameras out of the courtroom entirely. It's a lot of time, a lot of courtroom time and argument being spent on these issues, including today. The entire argument is going to be about the media's effect on the potential bias that jurors may have coming into this case. I'm hoping, because the judge is allowing for cameras today, that is a precursor that he will allow cameras to remain inside of the courtroom. But with all of this kind of delay, it does seem at this point that it is a tactic to never really get this case off of the ground.
Yeah, at some point, obviously this is a death penalty case, and the judge is walking carefully in terms of not wanting to open any Pandora boxes that might cause a retrial down the road. But what about the right to a speedy trial? At some point, can the prosecution say this is being too bogged down and that is against?
I think that's the summation of the whole topic. They go on to say that Erica Kirk is filed for a speedy trial as a victim in this case on behalf of her husband. But this is what I want people to understand as far as this is concerned. Ask yourself this question. Why would the defense want cameras not in the courtroom? Why is the defense trying to prolong the trial? And for everybody out there thinking it's a conspiracy, ask yourself these questions. If there was really nefarious business going on from the prosecution, means the state, and they're covering up all this information, they would not want cameras in the courtroom. They would want to keep prolonging the trial until the trial is null and void. Why would the defense be doing this? Let me give you an insight. Let me give you some insight on this. The defense is doing this because they want to paint a picture of this kid as innocent. They don't want you to see his reactions when some of the trial is going on. They don't want you to see dad, mom, boyfriend on the stand testifying. They want you to read a text which they know you're never going to read, and they're going to put it deep down in the article and frame it the way they want to. They don't want clips being on social media of actual testimony. And they also want to prolong the case because they're trying to do everything they can to not get him the death penalty. The defense have not come out and said that any of the evidence was not true. They have not contested it. He has not even made a plea. I'm just trying to warn you guys, and I know the world is retarded and stupid right now, and everybody and their mama,
including him,
turning on the people who make the most sense and who are logical to go after people who push conspiracies to make you feel warm and fuzzy on the inside.
Once again, right there, he's talking about Candace, y'all. He will never go at Candace directly. He's too cowardly to do it because he knows she will eat his ass alive, and she probably has certain information on him that he doesn't want to be put out there.
But I'm here to tell you that if you have a question about this, that's fine. We live in America. Do your research. Ask yourself the question: why are they doing this? If they are on the up and up, and they're not trying to do anything nefarious. This kid is dead to rights. These transgender activists and these trans adjacent people are insane. I don't know how y'all don't get that at this point. I remember seeing a video just the other day where a trans person came into a store and hit a dude in the face with an axe.
See, right here, right, this is where Officer Tatum starts pushing propaganda. Because now it's all about trans violence and all this old bullshit. And when it comes to political violence, it mostly comes from right-wing violence, right-wing extremism. That's where it mostly comes from. That's not me saying it. That's not my opinion. That's what the stats say. That's what statistics say. That's what the numbers say. And Officer Tatum knows this. See, right here, he's pushing propaganda.
Like, these people are crazy, and it's not that they're crazy because they're trans. They're crazy because they're taking these medications and they're turning into zombies, and they already have a mental illness that they don't address. You're just putting stank on you're just putting paper towels over poo poo. You got to pick it up and do something with it. You can't just lay a towel over it and spray some potpourri on it. That's what they're doing to these people, and they're going crazier and crazier, and they're shooting up schools. They're doing all kind of stuff. They would do more if they could, but they can't.
That's mostly right-wing violence. Guys, all right, I pretty much had enough of this dude, man. Guys, I can't stress to you enough how much I can't stand this dude. He's such a liar. And he's sitting around here telling you to do your research. Guys, if you actually did research on pretty much damn near everything Officer Tatum said, you'll come to find out that he's a liar. So trust me, he does not want you to do any research. He says the stuff that he says many times because he knows that you're not going to do any research. Leave it to Officer Tatum, turncoat Talmud Tatum, to think that he knows best. In there, he threw a few subliminal shots at Candace Owens because he's too cowardly to come at her directly. That's what he does. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, y'all. This your boy Mazo, Mazo Speaks. Like and subscribe. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'm out.